I'm so glad you're here. It's great. We have so many great photos and of the trip. You're gonna just love it. And I think you're gonna love meeting Ann Hillers, who is a good friend of mine, and she's gonna be leading the Vietnam trip. She's been many times, I don't know how many, but quite a few. She's led groups through Vietnam before. And I know Ann from when we lived in San Miguel de Allende in Mexico together. And I always laugh because I used to think that until I met her, I thought I knew how to, really put a trip together, how how to travel and all that. And then I met Anne, and I was like, oh my God, this woman has it down. She finds all the great little things in every place she goes, and that's why I just, as soon as we when we were expanding NextTribe, I wanted to add more trips, and I was like, Anne, I've got to work with you, and so I'm glad that she's going to be doing Vietnam for us. So welcome, Ann Hillers.
Hello. Hi, everybody. I can only see a few of you up there on my screen, but there may be others.
There's quite a few. We have about 16 or 18. I can't read because I have my glasses on. But we are, what we're going to do right now is we're going to go through, we have a nice PowerPoint, not even a PowerPoint, it's better than a PowerPoint. It's an AI thing, I think. And Elliser Holder, who's on our call, she designed it with the help of AI and our input. But we're going to go through it so you can kind of get a feel for it. And what we're going to do is, after we go through it, we'll open it up for questions. But as we're going through, if you want to, raise your hand or put a question in the chat, we'll get to it. So here we go. Now I just have to do all this sharing of stuff, getting it on the screen. Share my screen. Sorry, not as smooth as I know some tech people.
Oh, I'm so glad it's you and not me. I do not know Zoom.
Okay. Here, now you guys can see my screen. So you're like, what? That is the messiest screen ever. And I'm going to put it full screen because I have to get, oops. So
there you go.
I got to smooth people around here. Sorry. There, this is what I'm looking for. I'm sorry, I've just got something blocking the device that will make it full screen. Okay, so here we go. So beautiful, beautiful, beautiful Vietnam. So we're going to start off, and there's Anne, and Globetrotter for 35 years. Where all have you traveled to, Anne? Just give us a.
Oh man, well, a lot of Southeast Asia because I love it there so much. So Cambodia, Thailand, Laos, Vietnam, Borneo, Singapore, Hong Kong, China. I just got back from South Africa with the group a couple weeks ago, and I'm heading to Sri Lanka on Thursday. Sri Lanka will be new for me.
Wow.
But yeah, that'll be interesting. South Africa I do frequently because I also love it there as well. But that picture is from Portugal. I took a group there in September.
Yeah,
just a little bit of everywhere. Argentina,
and
Peru.
And how many times have you been taking groups in Vietnam or been through Vietnam?
Oh, 5 or 6, I think. Cool. 6 I've been, yeah. And I love Southeast Asia. It's just such a wonderful place to travel. And Vietnam's kind of one of the little charms of the area.
So here, we start in Hanoi. And tell us a little bit about what we'll see in Hanoi.
The picture you see on the left is very iconic. That's about what Hanoi looks like, except maybe 10 times more vehicles in the street. That must be very early in the morning or late in the afternoon. Streets are crowded, they're kind of chaotic, but they're very organized in their chaos. This is the old town of Hanoi, which is actually where we'll be staying. It's right just north of this bridge is on the lake, the famous Lake Days, and coffee shops and a few little homes are still along the street. That's kind of a fun place to stroll down to too. And you can walk there from our shop. The train goes through here up to Sapa where we go, but we're not taking the train. We're gonna take a bus. But it's still a working track, and as you can see, you're really close to it. So it's kind of fun being down there having a little cup of coffee, and if the train comes through, you get a sense of life in Vietnam. The bridge is over the lake. There's a pagoda back there that is one of the iconic symbols of Hanoi. You'll see that in many, many photos, the lake with the red bridge and the pagoda at the end.
Cool. And
oh, there's our hotel. Yes, I've stayed there now about 3 times.
I love that pool on the rooftop.
Yeah, the rooftop's great. They have a beautiful bar up there. That's just a great place to go up in the evening and socialize. The rooms are so comfortable. The beds are so comfortable. The air conditioning's cold, although we probably won't need it. The last time I was there was, well, I've been there in July and I've been there in March. July, you really needed it. We'll be okay in November, but it's a great little spot. You can't really tell from at the very bottom left corner where you see that man standing. That's a long passageway back off the street, and then the hotel is all back off the street in this kind of grand lobby, and the elevator goes up and it's all glass, so you see all the life around you. It's built in, it's wedged in between little this little bakery and another little store on the other side. It's kind of clever how they've done it, but you're definitely right in the middle of everybody's life. Like you can look out your window and see people hanging their laundry up on their balconies. Yeah, I like this hotel very much. I just discovered it 2 trips ago, so now that's kind of my go-to place.
Cool. And so we'll be spending time at the night market, which I just love hearing about.
Yeah, these are all just, has anybody here been to other parts of Southeast Asia before? No. Oh, fantastic. Did somebody say yes? I'm going to put you on the, I'm going to see the gallery view. Anyway, this is also such an iconic scene of Asia. The market's just filled with kind of every produce and fish imaginable. They stay open late at night, bright lights, people selling also jewelry and all kinds of little handicrafts. The food is so delicious. I know some people on all my trips get a little uncomfortable with street food because you've heard a lot, never eat the street food. The street food in Southeast Asia is how everybody eats. So it's cooked constantly. It's made, you know, all day long. You're just getting fresh ingredients. I have never gotten sick. Nobody on my trips have gotten sick, knock on wood. But that's kind of the way to eat. The food's going to be more delicious eating at any of these stands or stalls than if you find a restaurant. But of course, we'll eat in restaurants as well, especially our lunches when we're traveling. But if there's free time in the evening, I definitely recommend going out to a local market and just trying dishes like these.
Okay. Then we have a pottery class.
Also in Old Town, which would be nice. We just walk over there from our hotel and we'll each make our own little piece of pottery and paint it. The craft itself is famous in a little town outside of Hanoi. You know, each part of the city or each part of the country has their own crafts that they're famous for, like in a lot of countries. And you will see a lot of this painted pottery around Vietnam. There's so many souvenirs to buy, so many things you want to take home. It's kind of remarkable. I always say pack so light and bring an extra little portable suitcase or duffel bag in your bag, because you just, you know, even if you're not a shopper, you can't stop yourself. There's just beautiful stuff. There's also all these cheap knockoffs that nobody even knows aren't the real thing. You can get sneakers and puffer jackets and wallets and purses, and it's kind of a shopper's paradise. And it's fun just to walk around, even if you're not interested in buying anything, because it's just massive. You just see stuff everywhere in certain pockets of Old Town. They'll have different streets that sell different items. And the names in Vietnamese are the craft that used to be known. It's not quite as prominent anymore, but the streets are still named after the artisans who would have been making their craft: tin, wool, lantern, silk, all in Old Town again, where we're staying.
Okay, let's see this.
This is a wonderful little museum that's down at the south end of the lake. It just gives you a really lovely and sometimes sad look at the life of Vietnamese women, their role in the war, their role in Hanoi. A lot of the women come in from out in the countryside and sell the fruits and vegetables and flowers on bicycles that you'll see. You'll always see these women driving around town with their bikes, wearing the conical hat and the typical, skirt with the slit up the side and tight pants. And they will come in from the countryside and sell these items and then go back, say, every 2 weeks to the countryside with their family. The rotations exhibit, the exhibits rotate, but there's still some that are always there. It's not a huge museum, but it's very nicely done. You'll see marriage, wedding gowns of different tribes. Last time I was there, they had an exhibit on love letters that had been sent between people in the war, which was very moving. Cool. So that's just a great one. It really gives you a good handle on the life of women in Vietnam, which isn't always, best, but they're improving. Right, and then we will go up north by bus to Sapa, which is on the border with China. It's the northernmost part of Vietnam, known for rice terraces, hill tribes. That's where a lot of the hill tribes that you might recognize in photos with a very colorful dress, usually wearing hats. They live up in these communities, primarily harvesting rice and living off the land.
Yeah, so these are some of the rice terraces, right, that we'd see.
Mm-hmm. We'll go hiking one day with a member of the Hmong community. Hmong are also from Laos, so there's a lot of sort of cross-cultural movement between the borders up there, partly during the war, and also since then a lot of the Laotians and some of the Cambodians have moved in up north. So you definitely see this mix of different tribes, but it's all authentic. That's where they live. That's just how they dress in their community. They have markets, very famous markets. We'll be going to one where they sell crafts, where they also come in from the countryside themselves to do their shopping at different markets, different areas in the community.
I thought we have a picture of that, but I thought we were getting to that. But this is particularly on the right, the terraces, and then I think this is our hotel there. Then you can talk about the hotel. Then we'll get the picture of the market. So our hotel there, look, what a view, huh?
Yes, I have not been to this hotel, but I picked it because it looks like it's sort of in keeping with a lovely style. And also, again, in the center of town. I like being in the center and not having to, bus in or feel like you're not really part of the hub of where the action is. Right. And this is right in the center of downtown. There's a market that's every day that's very, almost next door to the hotel, but we'll just use this as our base primarily and take day trips from the hotel out into different communities and doing different hikes and walks. If maybe that's a good time to just talk about the level of activity. It is not strenuous, so it's just sort of a wonderful way to see the countryside. There is one day where it's a slightly longer walk, but they also have a van that travels with us. And if someone doesn't care to do the walk, they'll just put you in the van and take you back into town. But it's just a nice way to see the countryside outside of the downtown hub.
And look at those mountains. I mean, are those like they're not the foothills of the Himalayas or anything, are they?
No, I don't think so. I don't know what they're called, but those would be elsewhere. These would be, like I said, this is pretty close to the Chinese border.
It's pretty amazing. Love it. And here's the market area that you were talking about, right?
Yep, and we'll be visiting one of these markets. Like I said, this is very typical of the region. The really colorful clothing, the embroidery, textiles are very big there. And you can see that they're, depending on what tribe they're in, that's determines their dress, or their dress determines their tribe. So these would be women from 2 different tribes in the photo.
And is this like a weekly market?
Well, yes, that one, yes, there are weekly markets. This is one, this is the one that's on Saturday, I believe, and that's when we've scheduled it so that we will be there on Saturday. They have a market in town that's daily, but different communities, one will have them on Tuesday, one will have them on a Thursday, but this one is on Saturday.
Yes, and this is the hike. Was this the hike you're talking about, or is this a different?
Well, we have two different hikes, leaving the town and going out into the countryside. This would be one of them.
Wow, looks fabulous. And I
Yeah.
know that what I love about this is that we're having lunch with a local family, which is just amazing. And look at the kind of food. I don't know if that's how it's presented, but anyway, that's just a typical sampling.
Yes, very typical. Usually just sort of lots of ingredients, lots of fresh ingredients, lots of greens that you don't see here. And then always the garlic down the bottom, the ginger, the sugar, and the red is probably some kind of spice, some kind of ground chili. But you'll always see these little caddies on the tables of four ingredients that are in little shaker bottles, and it's sugar, soy sauce, garlic, and some kind of chili, usually chili oil. The food's just delicious, delicious.
Yes, it looks like it. And so here we'll have a lot of, I love that we'll be getting to know the people there, but then look at the landscapes and the nature there. It's just amazing. So what are we looking at here? The waterfalls. You take little boats there.
Yes, I don't know that we are going to this waterfall. I need to double check the itinerary.
Okay. I thought we were. I think I put it on.
Okay, that's fine. We'll go.
We'll go.
Everything's flexible.
Yes, it looks so beautiful. It looks so beautiful. And what's the in the lower left corner? What is that? That's the
I am going to have to look that up.
Honglian Sun Mountain. I think that's the one you have in the itinerary, and this picture just.
Yeah, the Honglian Sun Mountain.
Yeah.
We won't be climbing that. We don't have anything that strenuous.
Okay, that's good. Okay, oh yes, Cat Village. I love the name.
Just another day trip outside of Sapa downtown to show us the countryside and the just sort of different regions and different tribes.
Yeah. What tribe is there? Is that
I think that is the Red Dazo.
The Red Dazo. Okay, and then we go to, how do you say Sapa to
Ninh, yeah, which is outside of Hanoi. So we'll be making our way back down to Hanoi, but we'll go around the city and go to the southwest of Hanoi. This is famous for karsts, limestone mountains. Some of these look covered in greens, others are not covered, and they're just these big, gorgeous limestone growth. This little river goes through it. You can go on we'll have a little guide paddling us, taking us in the boat. You go into caves. Now we will head up to this pagoda. You can see the stairs coming up there. Again, if somebody doesn't want to do it, it's always optional because there's stuff down below to just walk around, see the little village down there. But if you're feeling game, then we climb up here and we get this gorgeous view. This will be where we will be in our little boats right along the water there.
In that water, yeah.
A lot of people use this area as kind of escape to get out of Hanoi in the summer months because it's much cooler and more green than Hanoi. Yeah, and there's our dear little hotel run by a woman that is known all through town for her embroidery. And we will be having an embroidery class there. She embroiders little.
Oh, sorry. Yes, it's a little out of order, but here's the embroidery class.
Oh, there we go. Yeah. So we're going to take a little class with her at the hotel.
I love that. And that one, that's when we're going to go on the boat.
Yeah, that's the sampan ride.
Yeah, that looks just fabulous. Yeah, there's the embroidery class. And there's some more of the.
That's the pagoda that's at the top of that walkway.
Oh, that's a closer look at the.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yep.
beautiful. And then
we go to the famous Halong Bay, which I'm sure you've heard of. Bai Tu Long Bay is a section of Halong Bay that is less touristy. A lot of the day tripping boats go into just Halong Bay because that's all they have time for. So we are going to an area that's just has less boats and less crowds, which has its big advantages. Same scenery, it's all part of Halong Bay. We're just going to a different section of it. This is the scenery. It is just beautiful. Some people think it's their favorite part of Vietnam, going into Long Bay. And we have a 2-day cruise, I mean a 3-day, 2-night cruise, which is really nice. If you just do one night, you feel like you just got out there, and then you're turning around and you're going back to Hanoi. It's really leisurely. The food's delicious on the boat. We have activities off the boat where we'll spend time both on land and in little coves of water, little caves, kayaking. We do not have the boat all to ourselves, but it's a small boat. It's just got 20 cabins. So we're not on some big, run luxury liner, cruise liner. And it's really a stunning part of Asia. It was announced as one of the new 7 natural wonders of the world, not the original 7, but they're coming up with these new categories, and Halong Bay was declared one of them. It's also a UNESCO World Heritage Site. It's just got a lot of prominence in Vietnam.
Several World Heritage sites, it seems like, that will be seen, right? A couple at least.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And then
right, and after we get off the boat, we'll go back to Hanoi and have a final night there, so that then you can connect easily to your flights the next day.
Okay, and then we're heading out the next day. We're staying at the same hotel.
Yeah, we go back to the same hotel, so if we want, we'll be able to leave stuff there. If you've been making purchases and you don't want to carry them around for the rest of the trip, you can just leave them at the hotel, and we'll gather them all up when we leave. Yeah, so we'll have a farewell dinner, and then flights, depending on what carrier you use, usually they leave in the evening, but some will leave sort of mid-afternoon. So depending on who you are, you'll either have another part of a day there, or you'll just sort of have a leisurely morning, pack up, and then head to the airport.
Okay. And then this is just for where you can get more info. And we on the call tonight we have Marcy, who's our travel manager, and that's her email, travel@nexttribe.com. So if you end up having questions that didn't get answered here, that's who you would talk to. Now I'm going to stop sharing after after my big technical faux pas. So anyway,
we didn't get into any of your internet work there.
So I wanted to see, now you have the kind of the lay of the land. So I wanted to see who has some questions about the trip. What can we tell you? What are your hesitations about booking? Anything like that? We'd love to be able to answer them for you. Anyone?
Yep.
Debbie?
Oops, can't hear you.
Yeah, we're just trying to you just want to unmute.
There you go.
There you go.
There we go.
Hi, I'm the crazy person with the brochure problem.
Oh, right. Sorry about that.
At least is there options for having single rooms?
Yes.
Oh yes. Yep. The single supplement is on the brochure. I believe it's $7.95, but yes, there's space to have your own room. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Cool. All right. That's all I needed to know. I'll mute myself back.
Good. Who else? Hi.
So, hi, I'm terribly sorry I missed the beginning. So is this double occupancy? Is it only females? When are you looking at going? Where can I get a brochure? I missed the beginning. I'm sorry.
I'm going to link you to the thing, but to answer your question, it is women over 45. That's our specialty.
That I am.
Okay, well, I was going to not assume, but And we are going, the dates are November 5th through the
19th.
19th.
The trip actually starts on the 6th, most depending
On the
on
6th, yeah.
where you're traveling from. You either have to leave on November 5th, or some carriers you would have to leave on November 4th if they leave very late at night to get in on the 6th.
Yes, and you can, there's double rooms and single. You have the option of either one. And that, I'm gonna put the link to the trip. Now that I'm not sharing, I'm not worried anymore about messing things up. But we are gonna, I'll give the link. What, any other questions?
Do you have triple occupancy?
We do not. No, just double or single.
Okay.
And
There are a couple of
yeah,
messages in the chat, Jeannie.
yes, okay, but we had somebody just raise their hand. Who was that?
Me.
Oh,
Hi.
hi.
Do you help with planning flights?
Well,
I
we
can
have
certainly
just-
give, oh, you want to?
yeah, you can, she can give you.
I was gonna say, I can certainly give you advice and help you looking up which flights might work best for you, but I don't book them. But I'm happy to provide assistance and say, you want to be sure you're on this flight, or if you're flying out of this city, here are some options. I'm happy to walk you through that and even send you some sample itineraries of things that might work from your hometown. I just don't book them for you.
Okay,
And
thank you.
just so you know that we're just forming a partnership with a travel advisor, travel agent who can do this for you. So,
Oh, great.
Jeannie Edmonds, Jeannie Edmonds, our Chief Operating Officer, is on this call. Is there anything we can tell about that's going to be happening?
We're making the deal as we speak this week. We may have more than one travel advisor. So yeah, we do want to be able to provide that service for you, and also for before and after your trip, if you want to add on going to Laos or Cambodia or somewhere else. We could do that through a travel advisor. Marcy is for planning what's going on during the trip itself, but we hope to have this add-on option for you soon. This looks like, can I just say, Jeannie Ralston, how come I'm not the Jeannie going on this trip? You get the good ones, man. That is a good looking trip. And I would go just for the embroidery alone. I'm so interested in what women are doing now with embroidery, painting with thread, they call it. I love that.
I have to tell the story that, Anne is a completely trusted person to do a trip like this. And I love Anne. And so I mean, she could do this without me. But when I saw the itinerary and started looking at pictures, that's when I decided that I had to go. So it's just also time to hang out.
Glad to
with
have
Anne.
you along.
So anyway, so yes, it is. I mean, just those pictures, and I think there was a movie shot within that bay that last where we, and I just have always remembered the scene from that movie. So to be able to go there is just fabulous. Anybody else? Oh, Beth, who's already Beth and Mary Lou on this call. I've already signed up. So this is people you'd be traveling with. And they were in San Miguel de Allende with us, and they are super fun, super curious, super smart. How you doing, Beth?
Doing really well. Good to see you and see everyone. My question is the min-max number of people that the trip will be.
We are the 14 is our number, and I'm not even, I can't even remember the
And I think that'll be the max as well, because
Okay.
14 max, okay.
yeah, because hotels were already getting kind of full. So I'm not even sure we have space reserved for 14.
yes.
Okay.
So and I should tell you too that we would like to, we need to make our decisions about this trip by March 15th. We have people signed up. We're short of our minimum, but that's why we wanted to do this session again, because we understand that a lot of people are planning their trips now for the whole year. So we wanted to make sure you got a chance to see this. But March 15th is a decision point for us. So please write that down and know that we really, if you want to go, that's the time to book. or we may have to put it off for another year. Would hate to do that, but that's where we are with that. And Mary Lou has asked about the PowerPoint that we showed. We're going to, yes, we can send you the PowerPoint. We can send a link to the PowerPoint. Also, after this call, we're going to send you a link to this recording, so you can go back and go back over it. So you can have both the PowerPoint and the recording. What other kind of questions do we have? Yes. Penny, is right? Penny? Yes.
Yes, hi, I'm Penny, and I'm wondering about, are vaccinations required?
They are not, no. A visa is required, but it's a very simple process now. It's done online. You can get it 30 days before you arrive. It takes 3 days to get it by email. You just print it out and show it when you arrive. But no vaccinations, no malarial meds, no special medications are required.
So the mosquitoes aren't too bad when you're out?
No, I've never noticed them anywhere, I have to say. I have not
Oh,
noticed
that's great.
bugs anywhere.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
What else can we tell you?
Hi.
Kristen.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Good, good. Very interested in the trip. I have a couple questions because it's a part of the world I've never been. Temperature, time of year, I Googled it.
Yeah, the temperature is actually quite mild, which is nice. There are certain seasons where it's really kind of brutally hot. In Hanoi, it should be, if things are, going according to historical records, it should be dry and about 70 most of the time, 70, 72. It will get cooler up in Sapa, but should be around 60. Also dry. They have the rainy season up there earlier in the year. So we should be coming on the tail end of that. And November is typically one of their driest months. But it will be cooler than Hanoi, and will be cooler than probably what you think of typically of Southeast Asia, kind of humid and sweaty. It'll be nice, you'll need a little jacket and a scarf. But 60s during the day, it could go down to say 40 at night. But it should be sunny, which will make it feel nice and crisp. It's actually a really nice time to travel to this part of Vietnam. The southern part of Vietnam, this November is not a good time down there. It's just too wet. But it's nice and dry and cool up north.
And just so you know, also I wanted to for any of our trips, when we have our group is together, as we get closer, we'll have meetups for all the people who are signed up for the trip. That way you can get more details of your questions and also meet the other people you're going to be traveling with. We just did a trip to India, and I think we did 2 of those meetups, like one, right after the trip was made and we had enough people and then after, and then about 3 weeks before. So, you could feel like, everything's coming together. Are you packing right? All these kind of things. I just want to make sure you had that comfort knowing you'd have lots of support.
Yes, and you'll get lists of sort of the best items to pack, things about travel, currency, exchange and currency, travel adapters, what kind of voltage you need, arrival formalities, pretty much anything that you might have questions about if it's an area that you've never been to before. It'll all be addressed in writing and with nice little lists that you'll get to help you get ready to get on board.
And somebody asked if you have an Instagram. Do you have Instagram, Anne? So that was in the chat.
Oh, I do not. No.
Okay.
No, I'm not very socially media savvy.
Okay.
I didn't. Okay, I'm sorry. That was addressed to Anne. I didn't see that. Okay, so what else can we tell you?
Debbie has a question.
Debbie, okay.
Debbie has a question.
Language. Are we okay just knowing English?
Yeah. Most people speak some English, both from the war and also because they know that that's kind of the language that they need to speak. Some of the little kids can speak in kind of tourist speak 5 languages because they want you to use them as a guide when you go places, and they'll speak a little bit of German, they'll speak Japanese, they'll speak English, they'll speak Spanish. It's kind of remarkable. But for the most part, you will find it pretty easy to communicate in English. But Google Translator is such a great app where you can even speak into the app and it translates it into Vietnamese for them to hear. they speak back in Vietnamese and it translates it into English with audio. It's kind of amazing, but you will find most people are probably conversant in basic English.
And we'll have somebody with us too, right?
Yes, yeah, we have a guide with us the whole time. So if somebody's with us who will be, dealing with the bus driver and logistics on the ground where maybe is not as much English is spoken, but somebody will handle all of those details for us.
And kind of filling us in on some of, I mean, I know you know a lot
Yeah.
of the background, but filling us in on some of
The history and culture, and sure.
So, which is always nice to know. Let's see. Karen, we haven't heard from you. How are you? Do you have any questions? I'm putting you on the spot, Karen. I'm sorry.
No, I did ask you about the flights.
Oh, hey, sorry. You did ask me
That's
about
okay.
that.
And I was just going to ask too about local guides who are, very versed in history and culture. And
Yes. And we
Yes, we'll have somebody accompany us. Yep.
awesome.
Let me
Thank
see,
you.
who else can I pick on? Delcy, there you go.
Oh, Cassia has a question too. She's
Oh,
got
I
her
okay,
just,
hand
sorry.
up.
are you
I can't see
planning
you, but-
anything beyond Vietnam? Are you doing any type of adjunct to Cambodia or Thailand, like after or before?
Not on this trip. No, this one's just Vietnam.
Okay.
But
I mean, I'm happy to provide suggestions if somebody wants to go, just because I have also been to Cambodia and Thailand, Laos several times. I was just there. Well, it feels very recently, but I guess it was last February, March. I was there with a large group. And then we didn't do Vietnam, but I went on to Vietnam on my own afterwards and spent another week there.
that's how much you love it.
Yes, I know. Well, I had to escape from my family one summer and I flew by myself over to Hanoi and I spent 3 weeks in Bangkok, Hanoi, and Saigon. Just
my-
loving it. Just by myself.
See what I'm telling you? What kind of a traveler she is? She's just amazing.
I warned the family, if you don't shape up, I'm leaving, and they didn't, so I left. And it was great.
funny.
Yeah, I'd not been to any of those places alone, and it was just really easy to be alone.
Peg,
I mean, it's nice too that they have massages everywhere, and it's just such a service-oriented community too. So, I would just go out and get a massage or get my nails done, and then go out and eat food on the street, and then just wander around for ages. And I met so many people just walking around who just wanted to talk. It was kind of nice being alone. You end up having interactions with people that you don't have if you're with a group or if you're with a spouse or a significant other. I don't do it, I won't be doing it every year, but it was nice. And yeah, I picked Hanoi, Saigon, and Bangkok.
That's cool. That's cool. And you said I love what you talked about the people there as just being the most welcoming and hospitable.
They really are. They're, a lot of people say, what about the war? Which now the war is what, 50 years ago. Most of the people in Vietnam were not even born when the war, they've been born post-war. So they don't have any recollection of it. They don't have any history of it. But my first trip was in 1993, right after Americans started being allowed to go back to Vietnam, or when there was starting to be some kind of commercial travel industry there. And even then, I mean, people were just so friendly. They wanted to speak English. They wanted to get to know you. They found Americans kind of fascinating, which was not something I was expecting. You think, oh, we're the enemy and we did this to their nation and to the region, but people were just kind of enthralled, at least, children. They just wanted to talk and hear about Hollywood, and they things from TV. That was, that's now 30 years ago, but it's been like that every time I've been there. People are very comfortable and very happy to see Americans.
Fabulous. Well, if there aren't any more questions right immediately, I do have a drawing, and if
Delcy has a question.
Oh, Delcy, sorry.
Okay, it's not that important.
I'm sure it is.
It's probably in the brochure. Are transfers included from the airport to the hotel?
They are. Uh-huh.
And from the West Coast, what are the airlines that generally fly to Hanoi?
Oh, pretty much all of them. American, Cathay, ANA, which is a Singapore Airlines, Korean Air. There's a new airline which my son flew on last summer. In fact, he went with, after college, he went with some friends and they went to Hanoi and a couple other places in Vietnam, as well as other parts of Asia. There's a new carrier called Starlux. He said it was kind of unbelievable how luxury it was. Just in, economy class, they had big screen TVs and little controls for, ordering your food, and they were giving him little goodie bags and all kinds. I mean, he was just loving it. That's called Starlux. I actually looked them up this afternoon. They're not so cheap anymore. Maybe people have figured them out, but all the major carriers, either like United, they'll either fly or they'll fly on one of their partners like ANA.
And so most of
Delta, I don't know about because I never fly Delta, but I'm sure they're partnered with some major Asian. Oh, Ava Airlines, which is based out of Taipei. They're great too. They're a wonderful airline.
And do a lot of those
Cathay is great.
A lot of those go through the hub of some.
Yeah, they will. Yeah, there are no direct flights to Vietnam. So good point. You have to go through either usually Taipei, Hong Kong, Osaka, or
Singapore?
No, not Singapore. I mean, you can fly on Singapore, but you're going so much farther south than you really need to go.
Oh, you need.
And it's a very long flight to Singapore, and then the most direct flight is probably Cathay Pacific, which is an American Airlines partner, and they go through Hong Kong, and they have good connections, and they have the shortest flights. I'm from LA, or I fly out of LA, so I'm thinking of those flights. That the flight to Hong Kong, I think, is about 12 hours, and then Hong Kong to Hanoi, I think about 4. The last couple of times I've flown on JAL, Japan Airlines, which is another American partner. I fly a lot on American, so I tend to use their partners, Cathay or JAL. Oh, do you have a question?
I was playing with looking at airlines and figured if I'm going to go on a flight like this, I'm going to go, business class all the way.
Yeah.
American had a way better prices than United did.
Oh,
Yeah, like by several $1,000s.
Yeah.
So I thought I would point that out.
Yeah, American, I was looking at the flights today too. American had by far the cheapest flight of everybody. Even though it's it's a JAL flight. But if you book, I forgot to look at actually JAL site. But I looked at Cathay, ANA, Singapore, several of them, and the American Airlines flight was the cheapest. I may look at JAL because sometimes it's cheaper to fly on the local carrier that's operating the flight. You'd still get American miles if that's important to you, but sometimes you'll find the cheaper with the like Japan Airlines. Look them up since their American flight was the cheapest that I found too.
And you also said don't book anything till you know the trip's to go.
Yes,
right.
So
which fortunately, is in 11, 12 days or so.
That's fine.
But yeah, hold off on your airfare until we know that we have the group. So
yeah. So should I do my drawing now? This is for $500 off.
Ooh.
That's significant. Look, I don't know if you can see. I've got it in a little cup here. I've got everybody's name. I wrote everybody's name down, and I have Roxanne. Roxanne.
Oh.
We haven't heard from Roxanne. Is she still on?
Yeah.
Roxanne, you have to unmute if you want this to get. Are you there, Roxanne? Uh-oh.
We're going to start singing.
I know. Roxanne.
I don't know. You might have to draw again.
I'll just show you if you can see my little thing. I'm showing you.
There she is.
Roxanne's name. Hi, Roxanne.
I can see Roxanne waving. I got you down. I wrote your name down.
So for this $500, you can book in the next 3 days. So that's the end of the day on the 7th. You'll sign up, and Marcy will deduct the $500 for you. And again, for the next 3 days, anybody on this call I know that Mary Lou and Beth have already taken advantage of it from another former call. You get in the next 3 days, if you sign up, just automatically $100 off. And if you're already a NextTribe member, you get $100 as well. So we're starting to, whittle that down.
Will that come up automatically?
Your $100 for as a member will come up automatically with your code.
Okay.
And I think you're a member, right, Debbie?
Yes, I joined over the weekend.
Yes, you did.
And
That's
I
right.
intend on going home after I send off one more tax return and joining and signing up tonight.
Okay. And if you want the code, you can write to, and you're a member. If you don't have it yet, you can write Marcy at travel@nexttribe.com. And we just need to confirm that you're a member. I know, but it's just, we want to make
okay.
sure.
I'm confused. You get $100 off if you do it in the next 3 days, plus $100 off if you're a member?
Yes.
So what do you need the code for?
The code is for the member deduction. If you are on this call, we have we know who's on the call. We'll refund you the $100. Just that'll come automatically. There's no code for being on the call. The code, it's just because we can't use two codes.
Well, oh, wait, but don't we just put $500 down as deposit and we'll deal with the rest of it later?
Yeah, absolutely.
Fine.
So, no worries. We won't forget you. What I'm saying is, I just want you to know that it's not necessarily, there's no code to get the discount for being here.
It's the
tonight.
accountant in me, sorry.
Oh, you're the accountant. Okay, you keep us honest. You can tell I need some help with that. So we know who's been here, and we really want you to sign up. We want this trip to make, because I really want to go, and I'll be so depressed if it doesn't make. And I know Anne will be, but we would try it again. But really, this is just a great time to go. I think the timing is right. It's still far enough in advance. And please remember, we've got payment plans for these trips. So you pay just a little bit a month, and so it makes it a lot less painful.
And one more amusing comment. I couldn't think of a better time to be out of the United States than November 5th through 19th. It's like I like
on an airline.
Don't let me look at my phone.
I know.
Well, you don't get Wi-Fi unless you pay for it on the flight, so just don't pay for Wi-Fi.
Seriously, I just literally.
But do send your
I'm a
ballot
political
in
junkie. I
before-
could not
send
be
your ballot
more
before you
excited
leave.
to get the hell out of town.
Debbie, I didn't even think about that, and that might just have pushed me to join the trip.
Yeah, seriously, the timing could not be better.
Washington D.C. is right down the street, so.
So yeah, you do your voting early or that morning before you get on the
Or,
flight, and then
so,
anyway,
early voting.
Early voting. So how fun! I can tell already. This is if all of you are on this trip, if you come, I can tell we'd have a great group. So,
You'll see my sign up tonight.
okay. Oh, you're
Tell
I'm
me
going.
your
I
name
already knew
again,
I
because
was
I don't
going.
have names with anybody. What is your name? The
I'm
one,
Debbie.
Yes,
Oh, Debbie.
Debbie.
Debbie. Okay, great.
This is my
I
this
don't
is my
see-
carrot. This is my carrot at the end of tax season, which ends in October, and the fact that my mother just died, and
Oh,
I have a lot to do on the estate, and I'm inheriting some money, and I'm going to spend it.
yay!
Go.
It's like, and so this is one of the things I'm, that I'm going to do. I'm going to start to travel more. And I saw this and I went, I'm doing this. It's
Good.
happening.
Excellent.
We love it. We love it. Okay.
So if you sign up for just real quick, if you sign up for the trip, I'm Marcy, I'm the travel manager. I put my email in the chat, travel@nexttribe.com. So when you sign up, I'll get an email saying you signed up, and I'll send you an email within 24 hours. And then you'll have my email, and I'll be available for any questions, or if I need to give you $100 off for coming to this, or whatever the case may be. So then you'll have my email. Okay,
Cool.
Fabulous. Well, you guys are a great group, and I hope to meet you soon, the ones I haven't met before, and have a great night. All right.
Nice chatting with you all.
Thank you.
And Anne,
Thanks,
thank
guys.
you. Beautiful Anne. Thank you.
Talk
Bye,
to y'all
everyone.
soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.